Good afternoon. It is Friday time, those collaborations time, a lunch break live time. I'm being very careful not to extend that because it does get longer and longer each time I do it. So I'm being very careful not to extend that. But we are really excited to bring another issue and another live show here where you can watch it live. You can also watch it on replay. So if you are watching it on replay, don't forget your hashtag replay in your comments. But yeah, you can comment along, you can join us, and it's really exciting to be here. We are slightly delayed coming in, and that's my fault because I can talk for England, but it's really exciting. We are here, and I am very honoured to have. It's like having rock god guests because these people have spoken on arena stages, and here we are with our new live show, and we've got them on today. So I'm really excited. We're going to have a really interesting conversation as well. Everyone's talking about this subject at the moment, and it's going to bring some down-to-earth human conversation about this subject, and I can't think of anyone better. So I'm going to bring them in, and we're going to get them to introduce themselves. Without further ado, it is my pleasure to welcome to the studio Paul and Jeannie. Welcome.
Hello. Hi. Nice to see you.
Nice to be here.
Yeah.
So good to see you.
Yeah,
absolutely. I think let's just start off with sharing a bit about yourselves, who you are, and just a little bit about your journey. What has brought you to this stage? Because I know very different business before what you're doing now. So just introduce yourselves to the audience and share with us.
Absolutely. Sure. I'll go first. So we are the founders, co-founders, and I'm the CEO, Paul's the CTO of an AI company called Autm, AUTM.ai. And before that, actually, we still have a software development studio. So rather than being an AI company that's adopting, say, American innovations, we're actually building AI in the UK, which is very unusual for a startup that isn't backed by a huge VC kind of company. So we're very much bootstrapping. We do have investors, but much smaller investors. But let's start with Remote, which is still a company we've got, but is our original company.
So we started that back in 1999, right on the dawn of the internet revolution, really. I've always been a coder. I've always been a bit of a geek, sat in the corner of his computer teaching himself to code. And when we were actually started our own business as a record label, funnily enough, that's a side mission, so we won't go down there, but we realized that the internet was going to be a big thing in the music industry. We couldn't tell how. No way could we foresee what was to come. And so we realized we should probably learn how to build websites. And before we knew it, we were building websites for ourselves and for others. And very quickly, because I suppose our natural interests and talents slid that way, before we knew it, we weren't just building websites, we were building portals and things that operate businesses. And that's what we've been doing for 26, nearly 27 years
and
now.
As the years went on, the projects got bigger, and the people that we worked for got bigger.
The team got bigger.
So I think a team of 20. We've reduced slightly recently because we're focusing on Autm now. But we still build custom business operations platforms for mid to large companies. So anyone with sort of normally over 20, 25 employees and up to the big brands. So Volkswagen, Volvo, Sony, Tesco, Mitsubishi. We've been working with those guys, actually building systems that manage aspects of their whole operations. So that's where we started. And that's how we came really to have the insights into where business operations was going for us to start to build Autm.
And so a couple of years ago, we were building AI into our own systems and into systems for our clients. And we realized a year and 3 months ago, something like that actually what we were building, we didn't need to be building in a custom way. And actually we could build a platform that meant that this technology wasn't only accessible to the giant companies we were working with, but to smaller businesses, from solopreneurs, again, all the way up
to enterprise.
And so once we'd had this realization that practical operational AI could be available to everyone, we just started building it.
So Autm became Remote's largest client in the last year.
Yeah.
And we've had the whole team pretty much on building the platform. It's been really hard. It really has been hard to build an AI platform that's capable of consistently, reliably running a business. But we're pretty much there now, and we're beginning to scale, which is really exciting.
Yeah.
And it is exciting, and we've been fortunate enough to be along that journey and see how this is growing and how this is developing, and it's really exciting to watch this happen and be part of it, be part of the journey. We've adopted Autm to support us because of what we saw in the values of the company. But talk a little bit about, I think, some of the interesting things. Some of the audience, they always say, what is it like working with a family member? Because as you know, we're brothers in business. We know that you are partners in life and in business as well. You're married. So just tell people what's the realities of starting up a business with the person that you're married to?
So I guess we have very different roles, and that really helps. Paul is much more the technical side of things, and I am much more the operational side of things inside Remote. It's very complementary. I'm very good at understanding what a customer needs and wants, and Paul's brilliant then at taking that understanding and seeing the system and architecting out how that would work. I mean, when it's stressful, and all businesses, it's like a roller coaster running your own business. And so there are stressful times, there are highs, there are lows. We can, it can be difficult because we're both then under the same pressure. And you haven't got one, normally in a relationship, one of you's having a rough time at work, the other one's feeling fine and, able to support you. And so over the years, we have had to find ways when we're both under pressure for one of us to be the supporting role and let the other one fall apart for a minute. We do that quite well, but it is tough, especially when now we've taken on this massive vision and ambition to build the platform that runs operations for businesses of all sizes across Europe, which is huge. It's a huge aspiration. The stakes are higher, the responsibility is higher, and because it's our platform that we're building now, and rather than something for someone else, it's much more personal. It matters, we've staked, we've made this major bet, and it feels, I can smile about it now because it feels like we're beyond the point where it could fail. There was a point maybe a couple of months ago where I realized that we'd gone so far that we were beyond the going back point, and that actually it was easier to carry on than it was to go back. But getting to that point, it was huge. Really tough.
There's a real bonus in it being a family business, and it really is a family business. Our daughter's our creative director as well, and so you've
met Ella.
You've met Ella.
Yes.
And so, for example, when we were building the prototype, the three of us had a holiday booked in Menorca, so we all went, and I sat by the pool coding, and Jeannie was able to come along and make comments on what I was doing. We were able to talk about it. And Ella,
this was right at the beginning.
Yeah. Ella's brilliant at prompt craft and the whole creative direction. So she was
AI ethics.
And AI ethics, yes, brilliant at that. So she was giving her opinion. And it wasn't a break. It wasn't like we're switching into work mode now. I was there with my straw hat by the pool, and we were talking about, adjusting prompts and the behavior of the agents and stuff like that.
But that's who we are.
And exactly, and that's how we've been.
I remember when Ella came. So Ella came home. She's 28, so she's she'd been left home for a good while. She went to Birmingham Ormiston Academy to do performing arts in Birmingham. So she's lived away from home for a long time. And I remember her saying, we're such a highly functioning family because we literally don't stop. We're talking about it all the time, thinking about it all the time, talking about it all the time, also planning where we're going. We've got a very good friend called Will Polston, who runs an amazing network actually called The Dinner. He has a monthly dinner. He's based in Chelmsford, but he has a book called North Star Thinking, and it's really important for us as a family. So the family dynamic is very visionary. We're always on to the next thing. Where are we going? What's the vision? Why are we doing this? Does it work? Are we communicating it? So it is very dynamic kind of in the family.
Definitely. We're building our life together. That's the thing. It's not like we go to work and then we stop work. This is our life and we're building it, and this is how we do it.
Yeah. And I think, for people who are starting up and are in the early stages of their business journey, actually it's quite refreshing to hear that, because so often you are work when you're working for yourself, and actually you kind of you just think, oh, is this what it's like? Is it? And actually what you're showing is that nice balance where it can become, it can still be fun and it can still be enjoyable, but actually that's the benefits of working together, is that you're on the same page with things. So
definitely.
I think entrepreneurship is not for everyone. That's for sure. Because being an entrepreneur, no one's coming to save you. So you don't have that kind of normal traditional salary that people have when they work for a large company. They have that security that salary's happening, they do their job, but they're not really responsible for whether or not the salary is going to get paid. But when you're an entrepreneur and you're responsible as well for other people's salaries, I think your whole heart and soul is then invested in what you're doing in a different way. And that's why it spills into dinner conversations. We do try and have evenings and weekends where we're not permanently talking about it, but we're not very successful at that. Have an idea and then we mention it, but we are very good at one of us going, actually, let's just not talk about it. Let's just be a normal family and watch telly for a bit, or have a chat about something else, or read a book. But we're at the phase where it's been a real roller coaster doing Autm, but we're at the phase now where it's starting to get super exciting. And so I always say, like, the last 100 yards of a race, the hardest. And I feel like we've kind of just run the last 100 yards. So we did get super tired, a few weeks ago. But now we're feeling energized because we're now at the phase where we can really go to market. And now it's exciting. Yeah.
I think watching the journey, it's been exciting all along. I mean, AO Arena, that's what I was saying about when talking to you on here, is really considering, like, you've done it arena size stages. It's like amazing. But the dramatic light, because I think Paul's conversation was one of my favorites at the arena in Manchester, where just that dramatic start on the spotlight on that small stage. I thought that was awesome.
It was fun. I felt like Kanye West or something. It was great fun, and it was so glad that what I spoke about, I shared our vision and our values and what we were aiming for. It resonated with so many people. It was really delightful to experience the feedback from that.
Would it be helpful for me to tell everyone what Autm is? Because I feel like we're
I think so. It's great. And yeah, I think it's good. It will be really good just to bring some of that in, because we've talked about the journey, and that's always what we want to share, is get people that understanding so they can see. But I think, some people are going to be sat here going, so what is this Autm
what are they
thing?
talking about?
And let's also, if people have got any questions or comments, if you've got anything, please do share it in the chat. We're on YouTube and we're on Facebook Live, but you can also watch it on the replay. Don't forget to hashtag replay, but put your comments and things in that. And also you can send them through to Paul on our email address as well. So Paul will pop that in the comments to say, if you want to send it through email rather than appear on the chat and appear on screen, we can take them that way as well. But yeah, tell them what Autm is, because obviously I'm quite excited, you're quite excited, but they're going, what is this Autm? So do share.
And so I'll do what it is now, and then if Paul, maybe you would be happy to do a very small bit about where it's going.
Could do, okay.
So Autm is what I would call an independent operations intelligence platform. And that sounds really grand, but what it's doing is it's joining up all of the systems that a company uses, no matter who owns that system. So we're not just doing AI in the Microsoft stack or AI in the Google stack. We're joining all of the systems that a company uses, and you might have Gmail for your email or Teams, and you might cross companies in that way in the systems that you use in your business. And what happens is all of the data, then all of the knowledge in a business gets fragmented. So some of it is in Slack, some of it's in Zoom transcriptions, some of it's in email, some of it's in documents. And what Autm does is it connects with everything, and it starts to contextually understand what you do, who you are, who your customers are, and builds a knowledge base, an understanding of what's happening and who you're doing things for. And then and everything's in natural language. So it's got a ChatGPT style interface that you can then ask it questions. What have I had any important emails today? What did I say I would do for that person? When's my next meeting with Ricky? And then there's a natural language workflow builder where you can say, every time a lead comes into the CRM, go online, find out about them, and Slack me if it's a good lead, or all those kind of things. And you can collaborate with Autm to say, I want to build some productivity workflows, look at the tools I use in my business, and make 5 recommendations of workflows I could use to increase my income or be more productive. That's where we are at the moment, I would say.
So the beauty of that is, because Autumn's connected to systems and it understands context, you can tell it to do things like follow up that message or write that to my task and so on. What's the exciting bit for us is, now that Autm is collecting all of that data and building a context, what it does in the background, you can't see it when you use it, but what's happening in the background is it's building a world model of your business. It's starting to understand the relationships. Ricky works with Paul. They produce those collaborations. They've had Jeannie and Paul on as guests. They're working on this project together. All of those relationships, down to quite a fine detail. And so you imagine a little bit like back in physics or whatever, where you saw the solar system model spinning around. Each planet is a thing in your business, a person, a project, a campaign, an understanding, even a document. And there's a web that draws everything together in the background. And that's very much how our brains work. So we're mimicking the way that we were speaking earlier. You talked about this idea of having a university student come and join you, and it was kind of wanting to please and didn't quite know how to do all the things it wanted to do. That's sort of how you start before you've got this knowledge graph. But once you've had that team member with you for a month or so, you can almost talk shorthand to it. You can say, where do we get to on that project? And they know what that project is and who the client is and all of those kind of things. And that's the knowledge graph working. And that's what we're building for Autm. But once you've got that, and you've got the data, so you know what everyone's saying in their emails and their Slack messages and their meetings. You can say, hey, you've got this podcast with Ricky tomorrow. Here's a meeting prep I put up. Here's the background. Here's what we should probably talk about, that kind of thing. And Autm can start to surface that. It's what we're calling signals. That's where we're going next, and that's what we started to build. So that moves from helpful assistant to COO. That's the transition we're making. So someone that starts to understand how the business is working and what could improve it, and make sure that things are in place so that you can run smoothly.
Yeah.
This rolls right back to the whole values piece and what we were talking about at the arena.
Yeah.
When we're running a business, especially when we're running it on our own, but as the business grows, so do the requirements, so do the lines of communication, so do the things that you need to deliver. We just get flooded with stuff we have to do, and our aim is firstly for ourselves, which is why we started using AI in the first place ourselves. But with the platform is to just free some of that cognitive load, and to have AI do the work that you would have been working late at night to do, because you didn't get a chance to do it during the day because of all the meetings and all that kind of stuff. And so it's a bid for freedom, really. That's what we're aiming for.
Yeah. And because there are workspaces, it takes people out of siloed AI. So at the moment, we're all working in our individual ChatGPT, or we're working in Claude, but we might have connected it to a few things, but we're very much alone still. And in Autm, you can have a workspace together. So we've got workspace together, and we've got a workspace for our whole team where we can collaborate on projects, and and even we now have collaboration in the AI chat. So you can invite somebody into a chat now and collaborate with them and with Autm on what you're discovering together.
See, at the moment, once you've got a few team members, everyone's just got all of their data in the one space. And that's really worrying for owners of businesses. Because for a start, when that person leaves, all of that data and context they've built up goes. Because you don't have their Claude login or whatever. So the idea is that we share this data, and so all of our data is richer because we've got everyone else's perspective on that thing.
And I think what I love about it, Paul saying he loves it, is so helpful, and the analogies of our brain works like webs is really useful. It's a really good way of thinking about it, and I think the other thing I love, you can tell that it's UK based because it's not over enthusiastic when it talks to you. So many of these AIs, so many of them, when you've used them, you notice that they're like really like, yeah, you're right, you're the best thing ever, and it's like, that's a great idea, and then you go, no, hold on a minute, that doesn't work. You're right, I need to check that. But Autm works. Autm, you can tell it's got that UK feel to it, which is lovely when it talks. To you.
And it has one job, which is to run your business. So it's not trying to give you psychological coaching or help you with recipes or any of that kind of stuff. It can help you. We've just integrated maps, so it can now take you to meetings, but everything's relevant. So it's very sort of pragmatic and right. What do we need to do? We're going to do this. In order to do that, I need to understand these things. To build this workflow, do you want it to go into a document or an email? It's very can do.
But what we've learned from business is the worst thing a leader can be is surrounded by yes men.
Yeah, totally.
Right.
Yeah.
If I'm making a wrong decision, if I'm using Autm as my right hand person, I want it to push back if I'm making a mistake. I want it to suggest a better way if it knows of one. That's kind of the vibe. Yeah, we don't want a sycophant. We don't want.
Yeah. And I think what would be really interesting, because we were talking before we came on, I was saying about the balancing conversation around AI, and there are some people that are genuinely really, really worried about this. We're going into this next new major shift and major phase. I think the last time we saw this major kind of like shift was when cars first came onto the road and things like that, or when the internet first appeared online. And I think now we've hit this AI. Some people are
It's
like,
huge.
this is the best thing ever. Some people are going, this is going to take everyone's jobs. And I know that you've mentioned, it could be in a small business, it could be someone's first employee, which is really great because it allows. So let's explore what you mean by it could be that first employee, but also how do you see that this works in balance with the human employees and the AI? How does it work in balance so that we've got that reassurance for people that actually Autumn's not there to get rid of everyone. Autumn's there to enhance everyone.
To support everyone.
Yeah.
And that goes back to why we built Autm.
Yeah.
So we'd had years, decades of experience building platforms for already very successful companies, the big brands, the global brands, the household names. And what was happening was we knew that we have lots of friends that are running businesses and actually to some extent our own, who cannot afford to spend 300 grand on a platform to help them manage all the things they've got to do in their business. And it was a bit of a frustration for us because we knew that if we built software for people, we could help them. We'd had a few platforms in the past that we'd built and we never really felt like it was nailing it. But when we'd started to build the agents in remote, we realized that actually if we could build a platform that was natural language so that people could just ask it for help, then we could start having the impact where we can build something that can do some of the heavy lifting. Because I don't know about you guys, but using other AI platforms, I actually haven't found myself with less work to do. Yes, it's helpful generating content or coming up with ideas, but they're not actually doing any of the work. I'm not finding that I have less work. In fact, I think I have more work because I take on more, because now I'm creating blog posts, but I don't want them to write it. So they're giving me ideas, but now I'm writing them myself. So actually I feel busier. But with Autm, it is doing things for me that I now don't have to do. Like Ricky, you had a brilliant idea, which we implemented, which was the deep research agent that we built. And so now every week every Thursday at 5 p.m, I get a bulletin in my inbox where Autm has gone online and it's researched for me what has happened in that week in agentic AI, specifically about business operations. So what advancements have been made, what are people worried about, what are they talking about? And I get that in my inbox every Thursday, and I write a blog post every Friday. But that research I now don't have to do, and it also writes my some social media posts about it.
Yeah. And this is such a key point here, right, around the whole AI topic. When computers became mainstream in the 80s, people were saying, "Oh, it's great. We won't need so many employees in companies anymore because computers are going to do it." Well, we know now, how many years on, that that's just nonsense. The key is that we're doing stuff that takes up time that isn't in our superpowers. It's not in our core abilities. It's not the reasons why we started doing whatever our career is in the first place, right? And so, for example, one of the first agentic pieces I built was I would run a workshop at remote a day with a client. I would then have to go through the transcripts of that workshop and turn it into a proposal and quotation. And it would take me about 2 weeks. But the headspace that took up was so intense that I would procrastinate for a month or two before I even started because I couldn't face it. I used AI to bring that time down to a couple of hours, which meant that I could actually provide a higher quality proposal
and a better service.
And I didn't lose 2 weeks of work, which meant all my other jobs previously were stacking up because I was spending 2 weeks doing this thing. And so I was working evenings and, exhausted, and people were waiting on stuff. And that's the thing. We've all got versions of that in our business, no matter what size business we've got. We've all got versions where if I'm doing this, there's other stuff that I should be doing that I'm not doing. And this, in this case, emails, checking your contacts, all of that sort of admin stuff that isn't the reason why you started a business. And that's what we're tackling first with Autm. So this isn't about having a team of 10 and making it so that one person only does the work anymore. It's having that team of 10 in their superpower, delivering 10 times more each.
Yeah.
It's simple things. I'll give you a real example. So a few days ago, Stuart, who you might have met at the Big Festoon, the really tall guy in the platforms, really nice guy. He'd sent a support email in to Autm because he was trying to connect with Kajabi and it wasn't working. And I happened to say to Autm just before I closed my laptops, have I got any important emails that I haven't answered? And it brought up the email from Stuart, and I was able to jump straight into my emails, ask him what he was doing, recommend some things, let the developers know before the end of the day, and then we had it fixed for him. Oh, okay. Am I back?
What's happened there?
I don't know. He said you just paused.
It's weird. I don't think it's us.
I can see the counter happening. I'm wondering whether we're still live.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, we're online.
Yeah.
Let's just check.
Oh, yeah. We have paused. Not sure. There we go. They've dropped out. So I think we're still there. Let's let him know. Here he comes. There you go, Paul. You're there.
Hello.
Hello.
So everyone that's watching, this is the joys of doing it live.
Yeah.
So it's real. Thank you very much for bearing with us. I think Ricky's just coming back into the studio now.
Don't
so
worry.
I'll let him
There we
continue.
go.
There we go.
Back in. I don't know what happened there. I don't know what happened there. Yeah. I was like, we're still live. What's going on? So everyone that knows is watching. This definitely is live because we just had a interesting time. But we're back on now. But yeah, I like what we were saying about it connecting and bringing everything together.
Yeah.
And I think that's the other thing that's been nice with the journey is so often you connect with different companies and people that are small businesses. You have to make those decisions. Where am I spending my money? What am I investing in? What's the right thing for me? Then when it doesn't work, you get that struggle to get that response. But I know with Autm being part of the early journey and being able to work, that actually it's done what it's supposed to when it's not doing what it's supposed to, because I've been able to reach out and say, who do I speak to? Who do I get help from? And have those conversations, which has been really good and really reassuring. And then generally once we've had those conversations, we've found out what we need to do. And like you say, feeding into, it's really good that actually you go, oh, as a customer, the things I'm suggesting are actually getting implemented and they're useful. And it's like, it's brilliant. Now we've got this research thing. You're like, that was because of me. It's that nice little bit. And it's lovely to be part of that. And I think that's what I've noticed, whenever you hear people talk about Autm is they say the same thing, is that, and even like yourselves, you are at the head of the business, and so many times the head of the business, you can't talk to them. Try and talk to Richard Branson for Virgin. He's very, very busy, and he's got too many people now. But with yourselves, you still become that. You're still that central part of it, which has been lovely. One of the things that did come in, I'm wondering if actually maybe that was the cause of it. It was like, we've got something by email, major interruption, breaking news. But one of the things that Paul said had come in was, what's been your biggest challenge? People want to know what's been your biggest challenge.
Yeah. So I guess we might have different biggest challenges. So my biggest challenge has been, as the CEO, keeping the wheels on the bus while we're making sure that Autm is secure, that everyone's data is private, that the LLMs and the agents don't see any personally identifiable information, whilst also trying to make sure that it's got value for people so that we don't get lots of churn while we're sorting it out and making it consistent and reliable and all those sorts of things. So for me, it's been very much that commercial balance of, we've invested really heavily. We've got investors and I'm very responsible for their money. We did an SEIS raise under the SEIS scheme. So I'm very aware that we've got to get to market and scale so that they get a return on their investment. And that tension for me can be quite stressful. Getting it on its feet, getting investors in, making promises that you need to keep, paying everyone. It's all of that stuff for me.
And for me, it's different running the product and building the product. Building with AI is fascinating. It's quite different to these other 27 years of building code. With code, I mean, it's all code, but what I mean is deterministic code, which is you code something so that when this happens, do this, then this, then this, then this, then this. And once you've got it working, you can run a test around it. And unless someone changes it, it'll always do that. With AI, it will do it sometimes, but then every now and then it will do something different and the code won't have changed. And so we've had to create brand new test suites to try and capture that, because someone will report something happening and we'll try it and it's fine. But then when we try it 50 times, it does that one thing once. And because large language models are kind of a black box, even the people that created large language models don't really, can't tell exactly what's going on. Actually being able to devise a way of testing Autm so that we can find those quirks has been fascinating. Like yesterday, I was talking with one of our developers who you met, who you spoke with around the workflows piece. He's one of our lead developers, and he's been struggling with this problem at the moment. Like, it works 49 times, and then the 50th time it does something different that you don't expect. And I just said to Nathan, you can ask it why it did that, don't you? And this is a completely different concept to code. You follow the code through and say, oh yeah, I can see that logic's not quite right. But with Autm, I go, let me just debug you for a minute. Why did you decide to do that rather than the thing I asked you to do? And it'll go, oh yeah, because I've in line 14 of my prompt, you say never do this. So I was just following the instructions. It's like, oh wow, that's fascinating. And actually talk with it like a team member. Whole new way of coding.
Nathan was great to work with on the research thing when we were struggling with that challenge. And what I found as well, that was a brilliant thing. Like you say, you can ask it and say, actually, what's going on here? So I needed to come through to Nathan and say, this is what's happening, this is what we're trying to do, this is what. But instead of trying to get all of that worked out in my head, I just went, Autm, can you just summarize what were we trying to do? What did I ask you? What went wrong and why is it not working? So I can send this through to the team to let them know. And of course I can. Gave me all this stuff, and I was just able to go, that's what it says. And that sounds that's about right. So it was helpful. Even when you're trying to solve the problems, then it becomes helpful because it gives you that summary of what's the problem. So it saves that kind of conversation at that time.
Definitely.
And how do I describe this in a way the other person's going to understand what's going on? So
definitely.
Exactly. So to actually be able to talk with your creation is quite something. That's a whole new era of program.
And that leads me, I guess, to where it's going. So at the moment, it's now contextually understanding the business, it's building the knowledge, it's able to help you with work. So it's able to actually do repetitive tasks. But where we're going with it is we want it to start to make suggestions. So we want it to understand where you might have a bottleneck or leads you might be leaving on the table, or customers that are showing buying signals that you haven't picked up, all of those kind of things. That's where ultimately it's going, so that not only will it be able to do things for you, it'll be able to make recommendations and then do those things and analyze how other people are running their businesses and make recommendations maybe of something someone else is doing that you're not doing that would have a meaningful impact that it can do for you.
Absolutely. And this is all in line with our principles that we run with the larger companies. My book, Scope to Scale, quick plug, is all about how to go into a business, identify the processes, the bottlenecks, find the bottlenecks, and use software to relieve them. And so that ability is what we're building into Autm.
Yeah.
Excellent. We've got some bits just to finish off, and we're going to do contact details as well. Just quickly, let's go on that plug as well, because I like that Scope to Scale. When's the book out?
It's out.
Oh, it's out. It
It's
exists.
out. It's launched already. It's in the ether.
Here we go. That's the book. I hope it's not mirrored to the audience. And actually, Jeannie mentioned another book, North Star Thinking by Will Polston. That's a great book.
That's a great book as well.
Yeah. So so Scope to Scale, we released it. Gosh, I think last year, maybe the year before. Finalist in the Business Book Awards.
Love it.
But it's basically our thinking over 27 years, how we do what we do, and how you can do that too. And like I say, we're building that into Autm.
Paul saying, "Can we have a signed copy, please?"
100%. I'll stick one in the post. I'll stick two in the post.
Yeah, 100%.
Wonderful. So we're going to play a little game of blankety blank just before we finish off, and I want you to finish this sentence. I want each of you to finish the sentence. AI should make running a business more blank.
Effortless.
Excellent. I like those. So let's just share the contact details with the website. We know we can find you on www.autm.ai. We can also find you on the Instagram as well. I keep getting told I'm at that age now because I refer to it as the Instagram or the YouTube. So Instagram and autm.ai. On Facebook is ai.autm, so it switches around slightly as well. And I believe that's all the contact details we have on here. Amazing. If someone wanted to email through to someone at Autm, to the team generally, because they've got an inquiry or they just want to ask a question, what would be the general email address that they would send through to you?
So you can actually go onto the Autm website, autm.ai, and there's a bottom right of the screen. There's a little bot there, and it's not a chat bot. It's you can put in your details, your message, and it will go straight through to our inbox. That saves anyone from having to remember any email address. Excellent. But support at Autm.ai.
We've used the bot as well, and I can confirm it's not going to give you hundreds of different options that you're not asking before it does come with the message. So it's a good way to get through to you. So it has been great. Again, if you are watching this on a replay, then please hashtag replay with your comments. We will see them and we will come back through. And if there's anything particular for Paul and Jeannie, we will send them a message and just say this comment's come up on the replay and want to know this answer as well. But it has been an honour and been fantastic to have you as part of Lunch Break Live and have you on the show and share a little bit more about what's going on in your journey.
It's been a pleasure. Anytime.
Any final words from you two before we depart?
Gosh, just I guess to say to everyone that don't be afraid of AI. It will be what humans make it. And we are at a point in our evolution as a species where we can choose to make it something that works for our world and the inhabitants on it. So just be responsible, know what you're using, make sure that it's responsible use of your data, but have fun, experiment, and let it help you.
This technology, you mentioned it earlier on, it's like the Industrial Revolution, and so we need to be aware of it and work out where everything's going. Just like when they invented the Model T Ford, lots of stable hands and blacksmiths were probably quite worried about their job but at the same time, mechanics as a job were created, and car showrooms and all of this kind of stuff. We're at the precipice of that kind of change now. So we need to be looking responsibly how we can implement AI in our business so that we're part of that change and therefore can direct it for good, rather than let it happen to us.
Yeah, and I think AI is that situation. And I remember when the internet first came out, I started in travel, and they said, "Oh, with the internet revolution, we won't have travel agents in 10 years on the high street." We still have travel agents on the high street, so we'll be fine. It just might work in a slightly different way, but Autm is awesome, as are you too, and thank you ever so much. It's been a pleasure. It's been great, and we look forward to next week's Friday lunch break live. But from us, it's a goodbye and good to see you. It's lunch.